Let's go, family. So, if you're getting attacked right now, you're not the only one, right? You're not the only one getting attacked, and that means something good. If you're getting attacked, that means a blessing is actually on the way. So let's go, let's go. You already know what time it is. It's your boy Crazy Faith the God in the building, getting ready to drop some quick value for you guys today. Happy blessed Sunday. Let's dive into today's topic. You know, today's topic is gonna just be all about the testings, right? The trials, the tribulations, right? Let's talk about it, right? So if you're honestly getting tested right now, right? If you're honestly getting tempted right now, just know that blessing is on the way, right? God is blessing us. He got abundance of blessings that He wants to pour out to us, and we got to go through something before we could receive the blessing, right? And it's okay, right? We at peace with the spiritual warfare. We at peace with it, right? And we're gonna keep pushing until we grab what it is that that God has for us, right? We're gonna grab what it is that God actually has for us, and nobody can stop that, right? No spiritual warfare can stop it because God is unstoppable. He never lost the battle, right? We just got to keep honestly seeking Him first, putting Him first, until the blessing that comes to life, right? And we got to continuously keep Him first, right? And understand, to be able to switch our perspective is honestly how we're gonna grow the most, right? So don't look at the spiritual warfare, don't look at the testings, don't look at the temptations as something bad, right? It's actually something good that's working in your favor because you're about to get blessed, right? You're about to get that blessing from God that you've always been waiting for, wanting, and we just got to keep persevering, right, until that happens, right? And one thing the enemy will try to do is try to throw a distraction your way, right? He will try to get you off course of receiving that blessings. He will try to take your focus off of the blessing that is to come, right? And that's how he tries to trick us out of the spot and to try to get us to go back to a familiar place. The moment you go back to a familiar place, it's like you choose the familiar place rather than the blessing. So we got to be able to be aware of what's really going on, right? Take that step back, like, wait, hold on. You know, what it is do I really want? Do I want pleasure or do I want the blessing, right? Do I want the distractions and pleasures of the world over the blessing? Is that what you're choosing after you put in all of this work to forfeit it for that? And that doesn't even add any value to your life. It's momentary fleeting pleasures and feelings that doesn't add nothing to your soul, that doesn't take you further where you want to go, that doesn't even bring the blessings to life and get you to where you need to be. That it doesn't even change your finances, right? It doesn't even do any of that. It's just a distraction there, waiting to drain your energy, leave you depleted, and just lost, right? So we gotta honestly keep that in mind when we are on the pursuit of receiving the blessings, right? The enemy will try to turn up that spiritual warfare, but you gotta let him know, nah, the blessing is on the way. You gotta keep reminding him that, right? Yeah, the blessing's on the way. I know you're trying to turn up that spiritual warfare, but yeah, the blessing is on the way, right? And once you keep reminding him that, you know, you actually stay in control of your mindset, right? You're actually, and he gets mad at that, right? Because you're actually reminding him, like, nah, you're smarter than, you're acknowledging that you're smarter than him, that you're not going to fall for his tricks and his temptations, right? And that's what we got to be able to do, right? We got to be able to call the enemy's bluff beforehand. Up, that's a distraction. Boom, by Satan, get out of my face, right? We got to be able to call it out beforehand, right? Because the enemy will try to distract you with things of this world that doesn't even add value to what God has placed inside of you, right? And he doesn't want you to receive the blessing. He wants you to just stay mediocre and average. Like, that's what he wants you to do. Stay mediocre and average because he knows that you're the light. And if the light get exposed to the world, you're going to be, doing damage to his plans, right? You're going to be able to change certain lives, certain atmospheres, free a lot of people, and that's ruining his plans, right? He's trying to chain people. He's trying to keep people as slaves, right? Right? He's the eye of the darkness, right? And God is the light of light, right? And we got to stay with God because He's the light. He's life, right? And it's no other side, like it's no other way to go than God's way. God's way is the best way. I don't care what nobody say. Nobody's gonna love you just as much as God. The devil is not gonna love you as much as God, because he's out to kill, steal, and destroy. So if he's out to kill, steal, and destroy, he's gonna try to defeat you. He's gonna try to make you miserable. And remember your pain. Remember the pain that you've went through. Remember your mistakes that you have went through and gone through, and God has brought you through. Right, is the reason why you're feeling good maybe right now. Right, is the reason why you're vibrating high right now. So remember your mistakes. Don't go back to your vomit. You go back to your vomit, you got to handle that. You got to handle those problems again. Right, it's like, you build with one hand and you rip down with the other. Why do we do that? And that's including me. I used to do that stuff. Right. And we can't be ripping walls down, because then we got to spend time, build those walls back up. God has to break those chains and free us to get us where we need to go. So it's just like being aware, like, all right, what traps you up. You know what leads you to the pits of hell. You know these things already, right? Right? And then what's funny? The enemy would just try you each and every single day until you get it right. God would try you each and every single day until you get it right, right? And his trick is the same. It may be dressed up in a different skirt, a different, makeup on, whatever it is, right? It's the same trick that he uses each and every single day, right? And you got to be able to be aware of that and just not fall for the temptations, not fall for the weak temptations that leads to nowhere, right? We already know his plots. We already know his schemes. We're going to endure. We're going to get the blessing. And that's that, right? And I honestly, want to encourage you guys for more strength to just keep pushing, right? If you feel like you've pushed, keep pushing more, right? If you feel like you fell, right, get right back up like it's nothing. All right, we out. Keep your strength, because when you fall, you need just don't stay down. That's what I'm trying to say. If you fall, we all fall, right? But if you fall, get right back up, because you need your strength to keep running that race. If you fall and you stay down, what the enemy comes to do is try to drain your energy so you can stay down there. But I've noticed if you just get right back up, right, and you keep running that race, you got the stamina to bypass all of that, because you still got your strength. But if you stay down, your strength, your energy, your strength will start to decrease, and then that's when life gets heavy. But if you just get right back up, boom, like nothing happened, woo, you have a better chance of running the race versus you having to build back those walls after that fall, right? I feel like it's easier to build those walls when you fall and get right back up, or just mend the wound and keep pushing, get right back on track, versus you fall, you stay down, and then you gotta rebuild the wall, heal the wound, and that takes way more time. So let's keep running. More power to you. Let's go, Crazy 50 God. On the way out, let's go.